Hello, welcome icons and future icons to our every other week webinar. Now this week, we're going to poke holes in the eXp model. We're going to talk about some of the questions about what's really going on with eXp. I mean, bottom line is they're the fastest growing brokerage in the history of real estate sales, and there's got to be some reasons why. And yet, nothing is too good to be true. I think you would all agree with that. So today, it's my job to act as devil's advocate to try and poke as many holes in the model. And I've invited some top level individuals, top producing agents from the eXp network to kind of defend that position of, is eXp too good to be true? So I'm glad you're all here. I'm glad you're taking the time to do your benchmarking and trending, because the whole purpose of benchmarking and trending is to identify the next logical step along the trend line of a successful career, to ultimately either create or align with a model that allows you and I to remain relevant in the future. So I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're investigating this model. And again, I'm just going to take a neutral position. I'm going to quiz these guys. I'm going to ask some tough questions today. And before we dive into that, I just want to give you guys a quick offer to align with our community here at Icon Producers. All you have to do is go to Facebook, okay? Type in Icon Producers in the search field, and you'll see a private group there where we're focused on just adding value to you, inviting you to, things like this and things like that, live events, webinars like this one. We just want to pour into you, because the bottom line is your production, your bank account balance, your net worth, it's going to grow to the extent that you personally grow. We want to give you that opportunity to improve your knowledge, your skills, your mindset, your habits, so that you can really crush it with real estate sales. So again, I've brought together a panel of eXp experts, and they're going to defend this model as I try to poke holes in it. So Rob, why don't we start with you? Rob Becker, I want you to introduce yourself. Tell everybody where you're from, how long you've been with eXp, and maybe a couple of other accolades. Take less than 30 seconds for us, though. Go.
Okay, well, I'm Rob Becker. I owned a small brokerage. I had 18 agents, and I switched to eXp last year, about 10 months ago. And I'm really excited that I made the switch. It's been very beneficial. I've been in the business for 26 years, top producer, and I'm in Arizona, Phoenix area.
Fantastic, Rob. I got a bunch of questions for you based on what you just said. Sandy Miller, tell us where you're from. A couple of other.
Hey.
Go ahead.
I am from Stockton, California, and I am with eXp Realty. I've been here for about a little over a year as well. I was broker owner of my own company, and since joining eXp, my bottom line doubled last year after aligning myself with eXp. So I'm really excited to be here and being part of the collaboration of these wonderful people.
Great stuff. Thank you, Sandy, for being here. Lee Jennings, take it away.
Hey guys, my name is Lee Jennings. I'm an eXp agent in Seattle, Washington. I moved to eXp in September of last year. And yeah, it's been amazing for my business. So
way to go, Lee. Rick Jansen.
Hi, my name is Rick Jansen. I was an independent broker for 16 years prior to joining eXp about 2.5 years ago. And it was the best move I've made in my real estate career.
All right. Way to go, David Torgerson.
Yeah, I'm David Torgerson. I'm in Helena, Montana. I was previously with Keller Williams forever, and I moved to eXp in May of 2019. My income's up almost 400% in comparison to last year that I was with KW.
Sean Policino, take it away, man.
Great, Sean. Thanks for having me. I've been a Keller Williams agent since 2005, 16 years, drinking the Kool-Aid, team leader of an office, productivity coach at an office, very engulfed in the culture. And since joining eXp 4 or 5 months ago, my production is up. I'm now a shareholder in the company. I never got to own shares of Keller Williams. I own shares of eXp, and our stock went up today.
Yeah,
so I'm happy. I'm putting 5% of my commissions away every transaction I've closed this year, about 20 of them so far, and the feeling is amazing.
Well, fantastic. Okay, Robin, we come back to you based on a couple of things that you said. Now, you'd reached the pinnacle in your career. Let's face it. You owned your own brokerage, right? And that was the model, right? Where you join as an independent agent. You maybe step from the I do it phase into the we do it phase, where you align with a couple of team members. Maybe you get a few buyer's agents, showing partners, listing specialists, ISAs, whatever, administrative support. And then you say, you know what, why am I paying all this money to my brokerage? I'm going to go it alone. I don't want to pay them that money anymore. I'm not getting any value. So you go it alone. Why on earth would you shift owning your own brokerage, right? With your, I mean, this is your baby. Let's face it, your ego's kind of attached to this thing. And you made the decision to move the entire brokerage over to eXp. Why?
That's a good question, and that's kind of what I tell people is you might think I'm crazy, but it was a crazy great decision. So I don't have the liability like I had before. That's one of the big things. Also, I have a retirement plan now where I didn't before. My only option before was to sell my brokerage, and it was kind of linear. Now, with one of the income streams, one of which is passive, one of our favorite, revenue share, that is my retirement plan from here on out. And you can talk to anyone on the panel here. We make money on revenue share, and it's just going up and getting better and better. So that's one of the income streams. Multiple ones. I had a couple of few that were my favorites, but that's one that it's a retirement thing for me, and I have rid myself of a lot of liability.
Gotcha. Okay, so you've mentioned revenue share. Now, tell me about revenue share. Is it based on net operating income, gross profit, gross revenues? Talk to me. How does revenue share work?
Revenue share is not profit sharing. It is revenue share. And so it's straight up the top. Someone that we've sponsored into the company, eXp, says thank you whenever they have a transaction, and we get paid a portion of it, and it just goes on into perpetuity. And that increases because those who you sponsor also sponsor agents, and you get paid on 7 different levels. So it's as good as it gets. I can't think of a better model.
So the model goes 7 levels deep. So agents you sponsor, you get a percentage of what they pay to eXp. Agents that those agents sponsor, you get a percentage of what they pay to eXp, and so on and so forth, 7 levels deep. And what I hear you guys is that it's based on gross revenue, not net operating profit.
Correct.
That's right.
Okay. Now, since we brought up the fact of helping eXp grow, there's a rumor out there that I've heard multiple times that once an agent aligns with eXp, they start investing 30 to 60% of their time into trying to attract agents to do what you're talking about, Rob, and their production drops, 25 to 50%. So talk to me about that, you guys. How many of you guys have experienced that drop in production since you've aligned with eXp? Sandy, I'm going to go to you.
My production has not dropped. It has actually increased. And part of that has to do with the collaboration of talking with people all around the United States and putting into play things that can work in my business here in California as well. But also just sharing the model with other people during the transactions. It's because if you see this model, you see it. And if you don't see it, you're not really looking at it. So it's just sharing. So it's not like you're taking away part from your production. You're just sharing with other people, just like you're wanting to help buyers and sellers achieve their goals. We're wanting to help agents achieve their goals of being able to retire someday. Because how many retirement parties do you really go to for realtors? So
great point. I love that. That's Sandy. That's good stuff.
Hey, Sean, I'd like to speak into that one for a second. So this year, for the first time, due to the collaboration we have from other agents and what I've learned from people here on this call, even, I closed my first buyer at 1.1 million this year. I have a listing, knock wood, praise God, going to close in 7 days at 1.85 million. And that's my first listing over 1 million. So I've had 2, not only has my production increased, but my my price point has increased. And speaking to revenue share, I vouched for Lee Jennings on this call when he came into the company. He was at another brokerage. And it's satisfying when he sells a home and corporate pays me basically a referral fee. But what's more satisfying than that is when Lee calls me up and he's received his first revenue share check and he didn't even know why he earned it. That was like the best phone call I've had this year.
Wow. Okay. Well, I'm having a hard time kind of pushing against this model. Yet, Rob Becker, when you shifted your brokerage over to eXp, how many agents did you lose? I mean, how many just said, I'm not doing that, I'm out?
Yeah, well, there were some because I had some part-time agents, housewife moms that were only selling a one or two or so. So yeah, it doesn't work perfectly for everyone, and that's a reality. That's okay. But for those who are full-time professionals, it works and it fits very, very well. So not all of them came over, but the ones that came over do like it very much, and I like it very much.
Gotcha. So I've done some investigation. The splits are 80-20, right? You cap at 16,000. Yet there's some other fees that maybe people don't know about. What are they?
You're talking about the fees that we have?
Yes.
So when you sell, you have a transaction. You have a broker review fee, $25. You have an errors and omissions charge of $40, but that caps out at $500. So once you've paid that amount, then that goes away. So for me, that's gone away here recently. And the 80-20, there's that split. But once you have capped at the $16,000 cap, then you're at 100%, and then you're at a $250 transaction fee. And then of course, if you can explain even more there, but as you produce more, you get all that 16,000 back, and then your fees decrease dramatically, and that's becoming an icon agent, which we're familiar with, and maybe we can talk about that. But the fees are minimal, nominal. The monthly fee is $85, which includes tons and tons. In fact, my expenses went down when I joined eXp because the CRM system, the lead generation system, the website, electronic signing systems, all of that is worth probably $1,000 a month, and we pay $85 a month for that.
Wow. So Sandy, I saw you nodding your head up and down because you closed your brokerage to shift over to eXp as well. Did your expenses go up or down?
Down. That's why my bottom line went up. And so my accountant goes, Sandy, your income really went up. And I'm like, I know, isn't eXp great?
So Sandy, you'd mentioned community, culture. Mm-hmm. Rick, you'd mentioned the same thing. It's a cloud-based organization. How on earth do you build community and culture in a cloud-based environment?
I just have to say, we have weekly calls. For us here in our group, we have weekly calls. We have 3 times a week we have these. So we're talking to people all across the United States 3 times a week. And the collaboration of that it's phenomenal. I can't share Sean doing with what he knows how to do in his coaching, selling over 4,000 transactions in his career. Who better to align yourself with than people that have done it and been there? And we're all scratching to get to a point where we want to be. And with eXp, we're going to be able to scratch our way to retirement and help to be able to pull a lot of other agents with us if they grab a hold of it and see. So it definitely, my income went up and my expenses went down. So yes, very good.
Good. By the way, if you want to align with our community, I don't care what brokerage you're associated with, just go to Icon Producers on Facebook. It's a private group. Apply to join. You'll be approved. Don't worry. And yet let us just pour into you. We'll remind you of these every other week webinars that we do so that we can just, like, for example, we just did one on team building and how to build a profitable team. We did one on Facebook groups, how to leverage Facebook groups free of charge to increase your referral business, right? How do you build that influence and create that omnipresent, powerful brand within your localized market? These are just a couple of minor examples of the multiple webinars that we've done. Again, when you improve your knowledge, your skills, your mindset, your habits, guys, your income will also improve in direct proportion. So now, Rob, you'd mentioned Icon Agent. Now that's just fortuitous. I own Icon Coaching. It just kind of happened that way, right? So how many Icon agents do we have with us? What does that look like? I want you to describe it for me. What is an Icon agent?
So an Icon agent is, and maybe the other panelists can explain better than me, but Icon agent is you've done enough production. Well, you usually cap at 16,000, pay to the brokerage. So depending on where you work. That could be 3 transactions, could be 9 transactions. For me, it was 9. So capped. And then after that, if you do, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe another 20 transactions or 500,000 in gross commissions, then you become an icon agent. And guess what happens then is the company says, thank you again, and says all that $16,000 you paid to us, you get back in stock. So it's completely free. And so for agents that produce, there is no better brokerage to be at. There's no question.
Okay, so I cap and I close an additional 20 transactions or make a sum total of 500,000 in gross commission income for those of you in upper end price points, right? Then they're going to give me the cap that I paid to them back in the form of EXPI stock.
Isn't that great?
Got it.
Yes.
Now, there's a catch though. Talk to me about the catch. There's a vesting period.
For that,
I believe.
go ahead, Rob.
Oh, well, you can go ahead. I think it's 3 years vesting, and you have to do a presentation in eXp World once a year. I think that's what it is. You have to be nice to your other agents and help them too. Isn't that crazy that they make us do that?
Yeah.
And
I think
David Torgerson, I think you're an icon agent, or you've been an icon agent, and I think you have to, they incentivize you to go to our eXp convention and our shareholders meeting. Isn't that correct?
Yeah, they do. Sorry if you hear the tinkling of my dog's collar in the background. But yeah. So I think you get $8,000 of eXp stock in a stock award, the 36-month vesting. So you get that immediately, and then there's another $2,000 of stock that you get if you go to eXp Con in it's in Las Vegas this year. And then you get another $2,000 of eXp stock when you go to the shareholder summit. So now you're up to $12,000 in stock, and then you get the additional $4,000 in stock if you do a class or some sort of a cultural contribution back to the company. So I teach a scripting class and then just use it as a referral opportunity. I mean, it's like, it's horrible. I have to build my business to make more money while making more money. Yeah.
But well, let's talk a little bit about stock. So there's a couple of ways you can earn stock. There's production-based awards, which Rob, you've spoken to. David, you've spoken to, that have 3-year vesting periods. Then there's this direct stock purchase program. Sean, you mentioned it earlier. Why don't you talk to that? What does that mean?
Sure. And I'm just going to also dovetail on kind of the questions you've asked so far, is that when you come into eXp, your mindset shifts completely because you're not attached to an office anymore. You're in this global company. So yeah, with the stock, I mean, I'm about 50 years old. I want to retire somewhere around 60 if possible. So I've got 10 years to build a retirement that I don't have. So I elected to have 5% of my commissions put into the direct stock purchase program. And by doing that, I get basically a 10% discount. So eXp says, look, we're going to give you $10 bills for $9 each. I mean, and I just have to volunteer and it fits my retirement goals. I'm in. Where do I sign?
What is the vesting period on the direct stock purchase program?
There isn't any vesting period. Yeah. Zero vesting period.
So you own it outright.
You own it outright. Yeah. So, I mean, we talked about the $16,000 stock award that you can earn back through Icon Agent. I mean, that too is a mind shift. You have to think about this completely different. I'm going to sell 30 to 40 homes every year because that's who Sean is. I'm an agent that's going to sell that. Doesn't matter what company I'm with, I'm going to sell that home. So with Keller Williams, I was paying $27,000 a year in cap and royalty. There's no royalty at eXp. And so if I'm going to sell those same 23 homes a year, I'm going to now earn 16,000 back and become a shareholder in that company. Again, where do I sign? It's a no-brainer. I just give you one more example really quick of the mindset shift for me was I came to eXp. I'm no longer attached to an office. So I'm having conversations with buyers and sellers, and they're asking me typical questions. Oh, what office are you with? Or what area do you work? And so my mind shift has shifted so much that through Make It Rain and KV Core, I did a low-cost Facebook ad. I was going up to Mammoth Mountain for the weekend, And I said, you know, this will be interesting. I'm going to go ahead and place an ad. I got permission from an agent in Mammoth Mountain to share one of their listings on Facebook. And I did an ad in 50-mile radius of around Mammoth. I also did an ad in Los Angeles of the same property in Los Angeles, hoping to capture leads of people that wanted to buy a property in Mammoth. I captured a commercial listing lead for $2 in Mariposa, which is on the other side of Yosemite, that turned into a $1.9 million commercial listing. I got multiple offers that's going into escrow this week. I negotiated a 10% commission, $180,000 commission, no co-op agent.
Yeah.
You know what that is, Sean? Everybody tell them, what is that?
Winning.
It's winning. It's just a
Winning.
mindset.
I love it when
It
you
wouldn't have happened if I didn't take myself out of this. I'm attached to the Westlake Village office of Keller Williams. It wouldn't have happened if I really wouldn't have thought that way if I hadn't done that.
Gotcha. So you had mentioned no royalty fee. Talk to me about that, guys. Is eXp a franchise model?
Nope.
No.
So therefore, no royalty fee, no franchise fee is what I'm hearing you say, right? So let me
Correct.
get this right. The only fee that you're going to pay is $25 broker review fee, $40 to already know insurance,
Correct.
unless of course you've capped, and $85 per month.
Correct.
Correct.
See, I
Minus
don't know that there's
16,000.
a less expensive model for the value that you receive at eXp in a big
Actually, there's a $65 application fee, right? As well,
something
the
like that.
$65 application fee to start. Yeah.
Okay, so that's your capital risk, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
And Sean, I was an independent broker as well, and I started looking at when Tim Harris, coach, first brought this to me. He said, Rick, look at all the tools you get for your $85 a month. You get KV Core, you get an IDX website, you get SkySlope, you get a managing broker reviewing everything. And then you get 60 hours a week of live training. You get a marketing center with drag and drop technology. He said, how are you going to offer that to your agents? Because people are going to start attracting your agents, your independent brokerage. You're going to start losing them to a bigger, better, flexible cloud-based model. And I started adding it up, and like just SkySlope and KV Core and the websites, everything, that was like $6,000 per agent per year. Not to mention, I was already spending 30 hours a month doing the marketing for my agents. And if someone is going to offer them a better mousetrap, I said, I better jump in front and offer them the mousetrap myself. Otherwise, I can't keep doing business like I've been doing, or as an independent broker, I'm going to be run out. And so there's also like this billion-dollar steamroller that's out there saying you don't need a real estate agent. And so if I couldn't just keep doing business the way I had been doing business, because the business was changing around me. And I had to learn from others with a national perspective, like Tim Harris, like the people on this call, talking to David Torgerson, hey, what's happening up in Montana? Talking to Todd Watkins up in Idaho, like what's happening in your market, Washington, I guess, what's happening in your market, so I can bring that context back to my market and apply the tools and the same knowledge and make money here, because we're all real estate agents. We just spend maybe 3 to 5 hours a week sharing our love of where we work.
Mm-hmm.
And again, no matter your brokerage affiliation, gang, just go to Facebook, go to Icon Producers, join that page, okay? Additionally, you'll be invited to weekly masterminds that'll help you improve your sales, your income, and everything else in the process. Just plug in. That's all I'm asking you to do. Now, it's been said that change is inevitable, yet growth is optional. So it's undeniable that things are changing in our industry. Are you going to change with it? See, because either you're green and growing or you're ripe and rotting. You guys understand this, yes? All right, so a couple of other things about the model. Now, Sean Policino, I know that you had a team and you shifted over to eXp. What are the benefits in team members coming to eXp, and what are the downsides?
Yeah, this is, I mean, again, another mindset shift is like Rick and Rob own brokerages and Sandy own brokerages. You could have your own brokerage within eXp, and it's called the team, right? And Keller Williams has always been, big on teams, but a lot of the other companies are not. And so for one of the benefits to coming to eXp was my team members used to get a half cap, half of the $21,000 cap at Keller Williams. At eXp, they get a half cap as well. So they go to 8,000. But if I grow my team to 10 or more, that splits again. They're now at a $4,000 cap. I mean, so the overhead for my team members is lower as well. And so that's a benefit in itself.
Can your team members participate in the direct stock purchase program, gain stock awards, create revenue share?
They can. And they
Could
can
do that
also,
at
if they
your
want
previous
to pay,
brokerage?
say that again.
Couldn't they do that at your previous brokerage?
They could in profit share, but if they were with an office like some offices that are not profitable, no, they wouldn't earn anything, because the profit share is based upon the net income.
Okay, so again, nothing against any brokerage out there. Love all brokerages. What do I say? I'm a loving guy,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, tell me, what is the main difference between profit share and revenue share? So Keller Williams profit share, eXp revenue share. Talk to me about that.
It's not based off profit.
So what do you mean?
So profit share is after all of your expenses.
Okay, so Sean, you'd mentioned if they attracted agents to Keller Williams and that market center was not profitable, then it didn't matter. They didn't get profit share. How does that work at
Yes.
eXp? I mean, what's the profound point of differentiation here, guys?
So Keller Williams, they're the only ones that I'm aware of that has profit share outside of eXp, has revenue share. But Keller Williams has approved expenses, and those expenses, the owner of that office gets to dictate those expenses in their annual budget. And so if the profit that month doesn't exceed the expenses, there is no profit to share. So if I recruited John Doe to that market center and he closed a transaction in that month, I would not benefit anything.
Well, and I think too, they have a team lead that they pay a salary to. They have an office, brick and mortar office.
They have a lot of expenses. Yeah.
So just right there, a team lead, they probably make a couple $100,000 a year, I would think. I don't know how much they would make, right? And then their office building, whatever that is, you have your PG&E, the phones, all of that. So it takes the profit down to very. I've asked a few people, and I don't know a lot about Keller Williams. I wasn't part of their group, but I don't know very many people that ever got a profit sharing check. I don't know, and I don't know that for sure. Maybe you can answer that, Sean. You were there for 16 years. Did you get a profit sharing check from the time you were there?
I appreciate the direct question, and yes.
I meant Sean Pellicino. I'm sorry, not you. Sorry, there's two Seans.
Do you want me to take that one?
Go ahead, Pellicino, take it away.
Yeah, I did get profit share. I was with an office for 10 years that was not profitable. I got very little, and then I moved. My last 6 years was with a different office that was profitable, and I got more in 6 years than I did in 10 years. But in total, it was less than $10,000 in 16 years.
Wow.
Why does everybody look so stunned?
Yeah. The other thing that I wanted to bring up too, and Sandy had actually spoken to this, with brick and mortar expense, okay, you got repair.
That's
And
right.
when you have independent contractors, and I know this just from my time of being with these other brokerages that did have brick and mortar, agents are not kind to real estate. They just aren't. So you always have the expenses of toilets breaking, doors breaking, windows get broken, like all these things. Yeah. And it's a really interesting thing, that just even taking that into consideration, there's a huge expense just in maintenance.
Well, David, you said you're opening an office, and something I often hear is like, hey, I really need to be in a physical office. I'm a brand new agent. That's what I keep hearing. But you had an office, you still have an office, and yet you're with eXp.
Right. Yeah, there isn't anything that precludes you from having an office. It's just not mandatory. All the training that we do, is virtual. We do it all through eXp World, which is cool. We haven't even talked about that. That's amazing. I mean, so if I need IT help, or if I need help with accounting, or there's a problem with a check, I jump onto eXp World. I take my little virtual ticket, and I'm talking to somebody in like 2 minutes.
Right.
So at the place where I was before, and again, now I'm like Sean too. I'm not bagging on anybody. Okay, but I remember there was a problem with my website. And I was on like permahold for like 2.5 hours, then finally ultimately wound up getting like disconnected and had to start the whole thing over again. You know, I'm trying to sell real estate. Like, I'm not an IT guy, but sorry, I kind of went on a tangent on that. But the deal with the office is that, you know, yeah, we got an office for the people that do need to have, you know, physical contact with other real estate agents. You know, but there are rules to our office, because somebody had mentioned this with you know, with the brokerages. Okay, you don't receive any business from those other real estate agents that are in a physical brick and mortar location. You know, like, you're not going to walk down the hall, you know, be like, hey, Sean, do you have any leads for me? You want to refer some business to me? You know, so for the agent being in a physical office, there really is no benefit to it at all anyway. And culturally, the only thing that you wind up doing in a brick and mortar location is honestly, it's gossip. You know, that's all we ever ran into. You know, I mean, you have like these people over here, they're talking about these people over here, that, you know, they're constantly, you know, like in some sort of a tiff. Dude, we don't run into that in EXP, because if you're in the EXP world, you're there for business. You're doing business stuff. You know, and then with my office, we've got rules. We do business stuff here. You know, if you want to gossip, go out in the parking lot. There's no gossip in here.
Right. And I kept my office. I kept my office here in Stockton, and I just made it a branch office for EXP. So you can do that. That's my expense. That's not an EXP expense, but I already had it. I had it for 9 years. So why would I change it at this moment right now? I just don't. Maybe eventually I might, but right now I have an office space for my clients to come to, and any agents that I bring on, they're more than welcome to bring them to my office as well. So
that's all good and fine. Yet what if you don't have an office space? What if you don't have the budget to go out and lease an office space? What do you do at EXP? I mean, it's a cloud-based environment. Do you just work out of Starbucks? I mean, talk to me.
Regis.
Well, in my area, there is no Regis. So if there is Regis, then you can go there. It's great culture, because you're not working with other agents. You're working with other people that you could probably get business from, or hopefully to share your information there and get some business. But you could also go to your lenders, get an office at your lender's place and be able to meet there, meet at the escrow company. I know some people that will meet at Hilton's, where they can get coffee, they can do other things. So you can meet people where they're at. And since the pandemic has happened, Zoom meetings are just great. So a lot of times you can just do Zoom meetings if people want to do that. So there's a lot of different ways that you can get around it, even if you don't have a Regis like around here. But there's other people that want your business, your lender, your title companies, and things like that.
Right.
Well, I'll jump in too. I just wanted to add one more thing, you know, and this is just answering your question, Sean.
Oops.
Oh,
Lee, how long have you been in the business?
Me?
Yeah.
So I've been licensed since 2005, but I've only been selling for like under 2 years. So
Okay, I remember you said that you've been selling for. So was it hard for you to come to EXP, being, you know, I'm not a new agent, but coming into business within the last couple of years?
I mean, you know, I was with Keller before I was with EXP, and there was definitely a little bit of a jump in terms of like the brand recognition. But as I often tell people, it's like they're not really buying your brokerage, they're buying you. So that's what it comes down to. And I have a great, you know, I build rapport with sellers pretty easily. So it's like I don't have to worry about the brand so much. And really, it's like I'm benefiting from this company that is trying everything they know how that it knows how to do to essentially give things to me. So it's like, you know, it was really kind of a no-brainer.
Gotcha. So another rumor out there that I want to talk to you guys about is that if you do, in fact, align with eXp and you want to build that residual and passive income and retire from this industry in 3 years, well, then once you attract an agent, you become a mentor, a coach, a trainer, an accountability partner, and it takes away from your time, it takes away from your production, and therefore you don't make as much money when you align with eXp. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, I'll just say that's not true.
Right, I agree.
Yeah, I can just say that. So, no, when you bring somebody into eXp, there is a certain amount of responsibility that you have as sponsoring that agent in. I mean, the cool thing about eXp, it's invite only. You know, so you get to talk to that agent that you want to sponsor into the company. You know, set the expectation. You know what it is. You know that the sponsor does. Like we help them get started with the technology. We help them get into the system. We make sure that that transition is as seamless as it can be. You know, and every situation is a little bit different, and it's genius in that way, because other brokerages, you have one person who's doing all of the onboarding for all of these other agents that are coming in, and people slipping through the cracks all the time. Well, the way that this is set up is that it's agent on agent. I mean, so onboarding usually takes between 48 and 72 hours until somebody's completely fully up and running, so long as they don't run into any glitches with their licensing on their end. So no, we're not coaches. You can be. I mean, if you want to get really involved with the agent, like you can get as involved as you want.
I think you're gonna help people based upon who you are as a person. So whether you're with a company like Keller Williams or Remax, you know, I know agents that are with Remax, and I asked them, I said, what's it like walking down the halls of Remax? I mean, and Sean, you can comment, you were with Remax. You know, is there collaboration? Is there people helping each other? And new agent says, I have a question. And, you know, it's like anything. It's if you are the type of person that you're going to help a new agent, you're going to share the story, you're going to share something that you're proud of being a part of.
No doubt. Well, good stuff. So the bottom line is, has your production dropped after you've attracted an agent and helped them with their career?
No.
No.
Okay,
Nope.
good.
Short answer, no.
Good question. There's a rumor out there that eXp, since they give away these stock awards, is going to run out of stock here really, really soon. So talk to me about that. I mean, is that true? Is it just some sort of made up rumor? Talk to me.
I'd love to take that one. No, that's not true. I mean, you know, there's I think the number I had it here right on my phone. Yeah, 450 million shares authorized, about 120 million currently committed, no shortage of stock, and they do splits. And when you do a split, you know, I, as a shareholder, my stock splits, the value splits in half. And so I have the same number, and the uncommitted shares that eXp has also splits. So no shortage, not true. Just the people out there trying to knock down, you know, it's like with Netflix and Blockbuster. I'm sure, you know, there were people that tried to knock down what Netflix was doing, and ask Blockbuster how that went.
Well, you'd also think too, I mean, the people that are afraid that eXp is going to run out of stock would be out there buying as much stock as they possibly can. You know, it's just supply and demand. You know, if they're not making anymore, just get as much as you can right now.
Or come align with eXp and get 5%, take 5% of your commission on every check and buy the stock at 10% discount and set up for your retirement.
Right.
Okay. How's the stock doing? Talk to me.
I
32% today.
Yeah, it was up by, I think, $15 per share. I think it was $31 yesterday, and today's $40, $43, $45 per share. So just in all reality, just for all who is listening, we all made money today because we're shareholders.
46.14 looking now. So just saying.
Yeah, so
I love that. Well, I spoke with a gal named Colette McDonald. Now she's in Atlanta, Georgia. She is a celebrity in real estate. She's all over HGTV. She's the only approved realtor for the Atlanta Falcons organization. And I asked her about why she made the decision to shift from Remax to eXp. She said, well, Sean, when I was with Remax, I was paying to Remax almost $50,000 per year for her and her team. So it was costing her almost 50 grand every year to be aligned with eXp. Now she's from corporate. She understands, stock awards. She understands, vesting periods and everything else. So she loved the model. She aligned with eXp about 23 months ago. And she said, Sean, I engaged in the direct stock purchase program. I made Icon Agent twice. And she said, my financial net worth has increased by over 7 figures as a direct result of shifting to eXp. Now, think about that, you guys. She's with RE/MAX, she's paying to RE/MAX $50,000 per year. She comes over to eXp, increases her net worth by over $1 million as a direct result of this stock opportunity. I talked to another guy, he's in Houston. He's battling stage 4 cancer. In fact, 5 years ago, they gave him 3 years to live. Yet this guy's a fighter. He's got the best attitude of anybody I've ever met in my life. He had a dry spell in his business, yet he'd been with eXp now for about 4 years. He said, I engaged in this direct stock purchase program, hit this dry spell. Stock was up. He had heard all the rumors, yet he hadn't really paid too much attention to the awards that he had gained through production, through the direct stock purchase program. And he said, well, I'm not sure if I need to exit this industry or whatever. I mean, medical bills were piling up. He checked his stock. He had over $300,000 worth of eXp stock. He said, I didn't want to, yet I cashed in half of it, and it allowed me to maintain my status as a real estate agent. So many of the people that I've spoken to, they tell me that they have a moral obligation to share this model because it has a profound impact on the financial destiny of an individual. So when you attract an agent to eXp, what I hear you guys saying is, sure, you're going to mentor them a little bit. Sure, you're going to coach them a little bit. You do that at any brokerage. And anytime they sell a house, you get a percentage of what they pay. Interesting. Okay, so what other questions, challenges, objections have you guys personally heard about eXp that we should address today?
One thing that I hear a lot, Sean, is that eXp isn't right for brand new agents or newer agents in the business, maybe like, less than 6 months. And that's something that I would love to dispel. I mean, I'm relatively new. I'm under 2 years in, and you're aligning yourself with the best people in the industry who are all over the country. And so you're not just limited to the people who know the business well in your own individual office or even in your geographic area. You are aligning with people all over the US who are the top in their industry. So, just that opportunity alone is massive.
Well, I'll add something in there too with eXp world, and the cultural requirement that the Icon agents have, teaching classes, that any of the training that's going on, is done by Icon agents at the highest production levels within the company. And it's current information that they're using like right now that got them to where they are. Like, you can't go to any other brokerage to actually get that type of an information or that type of information, because that's like a trade secret. Like you're gonna like guard that. Here, it's like, yeah, just give it away. Yeah, it's all good. Because the more money they make, the higher the stock price goes up, the more money I make. So like, why would I not like just give everything away?
So another rumor, all the technology.
So like for a new agent, I mean.
Here's another rumor.
Go ahead, sorry.
All the technology at eXp is really confusing, and I'm not a tech person, so eXp is not right for me. What would you guys say about that?
Go to the world and ask them, because in 2 minutes you'll be able to talk to somebody and they'll figure it out. They'll help you figure it out. So there's a lot of, obviously when you're going to be changing to a brokerage of any type, especially when they have a lot of technical things as we do, there's going to be some learning curves, of course. But there's so much help here. Again, like David was just saying, we're willing to help each other and give things away, but also the world is there. We have an onboarding with us as well. So somebody, Maria, that comes on and does our onboarding with us. So she goes in and she helps people to see the world, because we haven't really talked a lot about the world, a little bit of that, but we can get right in there and get our help that we need if one of us can't help them.
All right. Well, here's something else I've heard. I just want to bring it to the group. I want to hear your knee-jerk reaction to this, is that once an agent aligns with eXp, then they start focusing on recruiting agents rather than selling real estate. So if nobody's selling real estate, how does anybody make any money? Talk to me about that.
Well, they just posted $1 billion in revenue this last quarter. So
yeah, which came from transactional income.
Well, and I think it's like 38 out of the 50 US states, eXp has the top producing agent in that state. So clearly someone is selling some real estate.
Hey,
yeah, we all sell real estate. Sorry,
right.
Sean. We all sell real estate. We do agent attraction too. But yeah, we're all selling real estate, and that's what keeps the machine running. That's how we get revenue share, is transactions happen. So yeah.
Here's another thing that I've heard. eXp is a pyramid scheme. It's an MLM.
There's no more of a pyramid scheme than any other type of a company that has a CEO, a CFO. You know, I mean, look at any company. You always have somebody that's at the top. You know,
yeah, somebody signing checks. Somebody signing checks. It's getting probably most of the money, right?
Yeah. If eXp is a pyramid scheme, that means that literally every corporation in America is a pyramid scheme.
Yeah, last time I checked, I can go as wide as I want, and I'm limited to 7 levels deep, which that looks like a rectangle to me. It doesn't look like a pyramid. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well,
the geometry. Maybe that person that says it's a pyramid should go back to geometry class, I guess.
All right. Well, pyramid schemes, obviously the people at the bottom of the pyramid lose their money. There's no doubt about that. MLM, direct sales companies, things of that nature do in fact require you to do something different than you do every day. Nothing against those models. Love MLMs, absolutely love the model. It makes all the sense in the world. Yet when you say yes to that, that means that you're saying yes to doing something as a complete different line extension, which is not in alignment with what you do every day. Do you guys agree with that?
Correct.
Yeah.
100%.
So this is more of a model around growth. That's it. I mean, bottom line is, if you want somebody to do something for you, you got to compensate them to do it. Would you guys agree?
Yes.
Right.
So eXp wants you to help them grow, so they pay you very well to make that happen. Makes sense to me. All right. Any other questions, concerns, challenges you just want to bring up to our audience? Any questions from the audience? By the way, feel free to click the Q&A or the chat section. Go ahead and type that in. Otherwise, I'm going to let you guys all get on with your very busy and productive days. All right, going
That's
once.
awesome.
Going twice.
Hey, I'm throwing something out here. We didn't talk about the KB Core lead generation system that much, but how do we get more business? How come we're more productive? This is one of the ways that we're more productive, because KB Core is given to us, and it is the best one out there, and it helps us have more business. We do more transactions. So yeah, we're not just agent attraction. We are selling houses, and we sell more houses because of the KB Core system that's given to us as all eXp agents. And the last thing I was thinking about too is our network, where we can send referrals, is worldwide now. You're not confined to your physical office. I mean, you can refer business everywhere. And you can make money from everywhere. I mean, I have some contacts in Japan that I'm hoping to, get something going there. If I had something going there, they do transactions and I get paid. I mean, it's a win-win on every way.
So here's a rhetorical, Rob, real quick. How much is KV Core? Like, how much does it cost?
It's about $600 a month for anyone that's not eXp, but for us, it's included in our $85 a month fee. So, like I said, I reduced my expenses when I switched to eXp. You think about a CRM, website, a lead generation system, all that's going to be hundreds of dollars to $1,000 a month without even doing advertising budget. $85 a month includes all of the coaching and all of the technology that we have to offer. So very, very inexpensive and a very easy business decision.
So I do want to mention one other thing before we get off, because we didn't mention this at all. When I joined eXp last year in April of 2020, we had a high 20,000 agents. Today we have 60,000 agents. eXp is doing something right. If you want to grab onto it, get a hold of us, check it out. And because 60,000 agents is a ton, and we're expected, I think, to be 500,000 agents in, I don't know, a few years, maybe less. I don't know. So,
well, I heard by 2030.
Okay.
Yeah. So like by 2030, it's either 400 or 500,000. But I think that they're amending that. There's one thing that I wanted to add too. I'm sorry if I'm cutting anybody off, but I have this burning desire to just add this. Is that when I was with KW, I had this burning desire to do expansion teams. Like, I wanted to do expansion teams, and I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I'm going to expand here, and they're like, yeah, you can't do that. Like, okay, can I expand over there? They're like, nope, can't do that either. Like, well, where can I expand? They're like, for you, nowhere. Like, what the hell? Like that sucks. So with EXP, like I'm expanding all over the place because there are no rules to expansion. And it's so cheap. My budget is freed up where I can actually buy leads for the agents that are bringing into EXP. And you know, it works for me, it works for them, like it works for everybody. So it's like unlimited expansion. It's so simple.
And I think that's part of the problem with owning your own brokerage, right, Rob? Right, Sandy? Is that it's a limited opportunity. It's limited based on the geographic territory in which you can attract agents to align with your brand, with your brokerage. Not at EXP. I mean, how many countries are they approved in now? I mean, it's in India, France, Italy.
12, I think.
12 countries: Puerto Rico, Mexico, Brazil, Venezuela, Hong Kong, Australia, just to name a few. Every province in Canada. So unlimited opportunity. So a couple of things I wrote down. Number one was unlimited opportunity. Number two, stock awards. Now, one of the things that drove me nuts when I started my career, I was 20 years old. My mother and I and my wife, we all started a real estate sales team together. And we were consistently top 100 within the RE/MAX worldwide network of agents. Never received any equity, stock ownership. I mean, sure, I got the medals, I got the plaques, I got the awards, right? It boosted my ego, yet it didn't boost my bank account balance in any way, shape, or form. So I went independent for a few years. I'd never do that again, ever. I mean, I wouldn't wish that on anybody. Aligned with Keller Williams, who's there for a good number of years, never received any equity or stock ownership, right? Totally different at EXP. That's one of the things I took away from this, is that you have an opportunity to gain equity and ownership in the brokerage that you're working with. It's kind of a big deal, you guys. Other things, I mean, anything else come to mind?
I just
I
like to
bought
say,
a building with stock that I didn't even buy.
yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I'd like to say, you know, leaving Keller Williams for me was not an easy decision. I did not take it lightly. I was, you know, I had fear that I was going to lose on culture and lose on other things. But what I picked up was a company that gives me 7 total ways to generate income, revenue from my business. Where with Keller Williams, I supposedly had 2. I really only had 1. And so for me, that was just, you know, and being retirement being one of the big things for me was a no-brainer, really.
One other question that I wrote down that I failed to ask was health insurance. I understand EXP offers health insurance to their agents because there's power in numbers. Anybody on this call engaged in the health insurance program? Okay, Sandy, what's your experience been?
Well, my health insurance, because I paid for it for many years on my own, being in my own brokerage, my health insurance was going up to $700 a month, what I was paying with catastrophe deductible. So I had like an $8,000 deductible before it would really even kick in. And so I went with EXP's insurance, went in and checked it out and looked at it. I'm saving $250 a month, and I have better, better split. It's like $1,000 per issue instead of, so if I had it, like it's say if you get cancer in 1 year and you are go into remission within that year, but then it comes back, you're still only paying $1,000.
Wow. Okay. Well, so stuff. I've heard it includes teledoc and things like that as well. So I'm going to let everybody get on with your busy days. Okay. I've got a call coming up in like 5 minutes. I got to jump to. So all good things. Thank you all for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Value. Thanks for defending the model and allowing me to ask you some pretty tough questions today about EXP. All right. I look forward to our next webinar, guys. That's actually going to happen in 3 weeks' time. We're going to talk about how to double your production and your income in real estate sales. And I'm inviting a special guest in that's going to knock your socks off. And we'll, of course, have some other panelists as well. Thank you all for being here.
iconproducers.com, iconproducers.com.
Yeah, oh yeah, to register, go to iconproducers.com for the next upcoming webinar. Yet do yourself a favor, go to Facebook, go to Icon Producers, join our group. Let us pour into you and add value. Thank you all for being here. Talk soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.